I've never thought of it this way, but that's a really great like reflection.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. The band Levara is one of the bands that you need to keep your eyes on. The melodic rock band brings us both a poppy modern approach, but also those 80s anthemic arena rock vibes. And if you look at who's in the band, that comes as no surprise because you both have Devine on drums as well as Trev Lukather on guitar, the son of Steve Lukather, the guitar legend of Toto. I sat down with singer Jules Galli to talk all about the new album. Jules, congratulations. We'll get to the record that's coming out soon, but first, you just became a father.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 4 days ago.
It's a small miracle that I have time with you today.
It's exclusive. You're the first person to that's talking to me professionally about my career, and that gets to I definitely feel different. I feel great. I'm blessed.
So talk about that, being energized. Obviously, the main reason that we're talking today is the fact that the album is coming out. How is the band and how are you guys individually, given that everybody's apart nowadays, living up to this release?
I feel really lucky that we finished the album right at the perfect time before the pandemic hit Los Angeles. So I think we're doing a last mixing session when the lockdown happened and we were told to stay at home and such. So for that matter, we are very lucky. On the other hand, it's a little frustrating because the album would have been out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally believe in divine timing, so I feel good about it all. And we are, with this day and age, I mean, you're in Toronto, I'm in Los Angeles, and we're talking right now. So we do the same thing with the band, with management, our label. So yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
We're healthy, we're good, excited about the release. Better later than never.
Regardless of how the pandemic will evolve, at one point there are going to be live shows again.
Yes.
You guys are a three-piece. The music that you make is, let's call it anthemic. It's big. There's a lot of sound. So in other words, you're gonna have to either pull up some magic or you have to have additional people helping you out when you're gonna perform these live. Are you guys already working on what this experience would look like when you want to take the music on the road?
Well, there's already a few things we figured out, which is we will have a bass player. As far as some tracks, that's a possibility. We still have have to come back together and rehearse with the backing tracks, us three, and then with a bass player whom we don't know who it's going to be. We have some ideas, but it's still very much open to possibilities.
It's a fair point with the bass. I mean, if I think about a song like Ever Enough, there's definitely, the bass plays a big part in that song. So it will be hard to do without the bass player for sure.
Yeah.
I keep trying, but I'm not getting through. Tell me why.
Okay, so let's focus on the new music. Or actually, before we do, Kelly, help me understand, Levara, what's the meaning behind the name of the band?
It's Levara is a made-up name, and it's a made-up name using our last names, letters. So we kind of picked and chose, and we wanted to find something that no one, first of all, that was not copyrighted already, which is tough when you come up with band names these days. So instead of finding like a dictionary word like the Turtles or something like that, we created one, and to me it means lift up, like because levar, lever in French, in Spanish levar, it means to stand, to lift, to so ascension would be like, if I were to put a definition to what I think it means to me,
Right.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's a good segue to go into one particular song that we've already had the chance to listen to, which is Chameleon.
Levitated through hunger and defense.
You know, a statement about not really trying to fit in or to conform to the expectations. And I'm not gonna spend any time on, oh, the big name bands that, you know, individual members are, you know, somehow related to. That I don't care about.
Right.
That. I want to focus on Levara.
Thank you.
But with that, you know, with those connotations that exist, last names, former bands, people are going to have a lot of expectations before they listen to, you know, a single song. So for me, the way that I interpret Chameleon is the band saying, forget about all of that. This is who we are. Is that a right interpretation, or is there something else?
It's definitely like right. I've never thought of it this way, but that's a really great like reflection, you know, on what the song is. This is one of those songs that was really, the concept came first. I was reading a book at the time in the studio to just help me like write lyrics and stuff and find inspirations, and the book was called Chameleon Aura. And so I didn't really go that far until I was like, man, chameleon, a million, you know, like playing with the word. And so we wrote a song called Chameleon on that notion. So I wrote the lyrics, and then Trev wrote the guitar, and it just all came together. But I left lyrically the song open enough for interpretation so that you can create your own in a way. And then with the music video, that was a whole other dimension that opened, which was way more hopeful. And you know, when I'm singing Chameleon, I'm not really smiling. For me, I'm saying, you can never find me in the eyes of the past. You know, like kind of like, you know, I don't care. I do hide sometimes. You know, there's so many ways to hide. I want to break out of that, right? So it's actually like kind of like, you know, camouflage yourself to what? To just hurt less, I guess. That was my interpretation on it. And then the video did this thing where it just opened up a whole different, more positive, more hopeful, and bringing people in together as all of us creating a chameleon, the tapestry of colors, of backgrounds, you know, languages, so just all that. So it's one of those songs I'm really happy that it can transcend.
Apart from the video of Chameleon, all the other videos definitely bring clear 80s influences when it comes to color scheme, or broken water pipes in abandoned factories, or just the simple, you know, color schemes and fashion. In the music, it's a balance where we you know, you can hear, you know, modern pop rock like the Killers, but at the same time also these, you know, very funky 80s hard rock influences as well. What for you have been the key influences for this record?
It were definitely a melting pot of influences, and then the ones that actually make it through sometimes are the ones that are a part of us, and sometimes they're like the result of all of them, you know. It's hard to really pinpoint what did what or anything, but for me, as a vocalist and a songwriter, I've always been more influenced by R&B, by, for lack of better words, black music. You know, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, all of those classics, and then even some European British music like the Police and stuff are themselves influenced by really groovy stuff. And then I have the classical upbringing from France, the Conservatory of Lyon, which is all classical and choir. So harmonies, which led me to Queen, you know, which led me to, well, melodic rock. I can find myself in there. So that's me personally, and there's so many other, you know, soul, and I love hip hop. I just love how drums and bass can just take you through, and then a story and a melody that you can't forget, you know. And then Trev is the 80s rock, the Toto, the funky, because it's really funky. And Toto is another great example of you know, white boys influenced by funk and jazz and R&B, you know, pop, so many of those elements, but coming through the sound of still, like, you know, cranked up guitar, drums. So Trev brings all of that world to us, and then Josh can do anything on the drums, and he's done, I would say, like, everything on the drums, considering the level he's been at, but also he loves like double kick pedal music, like scream metal kind of shit that Trev and I don't really vibe with, but he brings that the technicality of it, and then just the intensity of him playing a simple pocket, which he does that really well because he's been in the pop world as well. So all of these things just merge together, and then it's really the songs that decided what influence from us would collectively arise.
Talking about Trev, have you ever met anyone before that can, you know, does such a good job at looking straight into a camera while playing his instrument?
I think he's definitely at the top of that list. Yeah.
The most relatable for people right now, I would think, is Ever Enough. You know, you mentioned that the album was written just before the pandemic hit, and it is about tensions between people, and could be band members, could be a relationship, what have you. But with the pandemic, everybody has struggled with you know, dealing with issues in a different way. Is Ever Enough a really good example of how the meaning of a song can evolve over time? Because I can imagine that you guys have already received quite some responses from your fans that were able, on a very personal level, to relate to that song, maybe more than other songs. Yes.
Again, I love that songs can take on different shapes and meanings. Kurt Cobain was a great advocate of that. He's like, I write the lyrics that feel good, you take what you want from it. Or, you know, Bob Dylan doesn't necessarily like to explain what his songs are about. He's like, it's yours, you know, you do what you want with it. Ever Enough is definitely a song of it's got potential to relate, to strike a chord on a very personal level with everyone, because I mean, I hope everyone's been in a relationship, and you almost feel like you have to go through knowing when it's time to stop trying because it's not working, and when it's worth trying, and you have to, you know, adjust and communicate. So this is like a cry for better communication, so to speak, and for an answer, you know. So we're all waiting for an answer right now, like when, why. Some people are like how, so I guess, yeah, it is a good song of the time, and I think it's a great pop song. Yeah, we can all relate to that, I think. And then I love that. I love where you take it, like as far as like opening it up to a more global meaning of the song. So I like that. That's powerful.
So let's go from the band to you personally. We started off with, you know, congratulating you on becoming a father. One thing that we do share, apart from living the rock star lifestyle, obviously,
hell yeah,
is we're both, you know, first generation immigrants into North America. As a Belgian living in Toronto, you're living in Los Angeles as a Frenchman.
Yes.
I know from personal experience that being Western European in North America can sometimes be an adjustment. How has that been for you?
I was not even 15 when I moved, so I had the upbringing of France as a child and teenager, but my adult upbringing and development has been American per se. I mean, I moved to Miami, so it's not like America, you know, or even New York. It's not like no one will speak to you if you don't speak English or all that, you know. So it's been actually really smooth for me.
Spilling your judgment on yourself, versions of you.
It was actually pretty easy to adjust, and I focused on learning English. And 6 months later, I could understand and communicate. It took a few years to adapt to the language, you know, phonetically speaking and expressions and this and that. But that has been pretty easy. And then my family, we're very open to different culture. I mean, we moved here to assimilate, and I've just become American a few weeks ago.
Below all of the newly adopted American identity, is there still a heart beating for Olympique Lyon, or have you kind of moved on from that?
I mean, that's my team. My brother, my dad are like, you know, super hard soccer fans, and we lived there when they were like 6 or 7 years winners, you know. So even though you know, I was more into my music and dancing and drawing and stuff, I left soccer for hip hop and tap dancing when I was a kid. So I wasn't like, oh my God, like, if we don't win, it's the end of the world. But for sure, it's part of my blood.
You know, you're full on in the release cycle now. What else should the fans keep their eyes open for?
Hopefully dates, postponed dates of some that we already had planned, and more of them to come, hopefully. And then we have one more single that will come out before the album, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited that Mascot like believed in this record so much that they thought, at first it was like, we'll do Automatic and one other, you know. Mm-hmm. And then they changed their minds, and we're doing, so it's gonna be five singles will be out by the time the record comes out, which is half of the album, and without counting the deluxe, which I'm a huge fan of. I love the deluxe songs on it. So yeah, one more single, and May 14th, you know, pre-order. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, Jules, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to the release. And yeah, you know, enjoy what seems to be the rest of a sunny day out there in Los Angeles. And can't wait for the release of the album. Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup, Jasper. À bientôt peut-être. Vive la France, vive la Belgique. Thank you for having me. Bye.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.